The remnants of the once bustling metropolis of San Francisco loomed silently under the shadow of an ash-filled sky. In the aftermath of the conflict that had razed Earth, silence had settled heavily over the ruins, broken only by the occasional gust of wind stirring through shattered buildings. It was on this desolate tableau that the Zeltron reconnaissance team descended, their mission being one of data collection, not rescue. Their sleek ship, barely visible against the cloud cover, hovered above the city, scanning for any signs of life or recoverable technology. Captain Vora, leader of the Zeltron team, was the first to spot the anomaly, a small heat signature inconsistent with the surrounding debris. Curiosity piqued, Vora ordered the ship to descend for a closer look. As they approached the ground, the source of the heat signature became clear. A young human child, her clothes torn and dirty, sitting alone atop a pile of rubble. Her face was streaked with dirt and tears, but it was her eyes, wide and shimmering with unshed tears, that caught and held Vora's gaze. The decision to rescue her was made without words. The crew knew the risks of bringing an unknown entity aboard their meticulously maintained ship, but the sight of such vulnerability on a planet they knew had been condemned moved them deeply. They extended a ramp and gently coaxed the child inside. She was frightened but too exhausted to resist their strange, non-human forms. They wrapped her in a thermal blanket and gave her water, watching as she clutched the cup with shaky hands. Once aboard, the child was introduced to the rest of the crew. She said her name was Emma. Questions about her family led nowhere. She was alone, the last surviving member of her immediate world. The crew's medic, Dr. Pell, examined Emma and found her to be in remarkably good health, considering her ordeal. However, there was something unusual about her, something the scans couldn't identify. Pell decided to keep this under observation. As the ship left Earth's orbit, the reality of their decision began to sink in. They had on their hands a human child, a species known throughout the galaxy not just for their resilience and ingenuity, but also for their capacity for destruction and chaos. What's more, they knew nothing of her background or how she had survived when so much of her world had not. The first few days were uneventful as Emma adjusted to her new surroundings. She was quiet, observant, spending hours watching the stars streak by from the viewing deck. The crew found themselves growing fond of her, her presence bringing a strange sense of normalcy to their mission. But this calm was short-lived. As they neared the edge of the solar system, Emma began to show signs of distress. At first, it was nightmares, from which she would wake screaming in languages none of the crew understood. Then came the incidents, objects levitating, lights flickering, electronic devices malfunctioning whenever she was nearby. It was subtle at first, easily dismissed as coincidences, but as the days passed, the occurrences grew more frequent and more pronounced. The crew was forced to acknowledge that there was nothing normal about Emma. She possessed abilities that defied their understanding of physics and biology, abilities that were growing stronger and more volatile by the day. The realization dawned on them that their act of rescue might have brought them more than they had bargained for. Yet despite their growing apprehension, there was an unspoken agreement among them. Emma was their responsibility now, and they would do whatever it took to ensure her safety and the safety of all aboard. What they didn't yet realize was just how challenging that task would be. Emma's powers continued to unfold in ways that both amazed and alarmed the Zeltron crew. Initially, these manifestations were sporadic and seemingly triggered by her emotions. A cup would hover off the table during moments of excitement, or a book would flip open to a page she stared at intently. These incidents were fascinating to witness, but also a source of concern. The ship's engineer, Syl, had to double-check and reinforce the integrity of the ship's systems to ensure that Emma's uncontrolled abilities didn't cause critical damage. The crew, realizing the potential dangers of her powers, decided to monitor Emma more closely. Dr. Pell, along with Syl and a team of biotechnicians, began conducting non-invasive scans to try and understand the nature of her abilities. The results were perplexing. Emma's DNA showed anomalies that were off the charts. Strange sequences that seemed almost designed, interwoven with her genetic material in ways that defied natural evolution. Captain Vora decided it was time to have a frank conversation with Emma about her abilities. They sat in the observation lounge, a room with large windows that looked out into the vastness of space. It was here, against the backdrop of the infinite cosmos, that Vora gently broached the subject. "Emma," Vora began, their voice calm and steady, "we've noticed some unique things about you. Can you tell us anything about how you do those amazing things?" Emma looked out the window, her gaze distant. "I don't know," she murmured. "It just happens. It started after—" Her voice trailed off, her eyes clouded with memories. "After what, Emma?" Vora encouraged softly. "After the experiments," she whispered almost inaudibly. Vora exchanged a glance with Dr. Pell, who was also present. This was the first time Emma had mentioned any sort of experiments. Sensing the gravity of what Emma might reveal, they listened intently as she described being taken to a facility where people in lab coats performed tests on her and other children. Emma didn't remember much, only that it was painful and that she had started to do strange things during her captivity. The implications of her story were chilling. It appeared that Emma was a product of human experimentation, possibly an attempt to enhance human capabilities through genetic modification or nanotechnology. This revelation put the crew in a difficult position. Such experiments were a violation of several galactic accords. They now harbored not just a survivor, but possibly a powerful bioengineered being. Determined to help Emma control her burgeoning powers, Dr. Pell proposed a structured regime that included training in mindfulness and emotional regulation, hoping it would help her manage her telekinetic and telepathic abilities. The crew set up a makeshift training area where Emma could practice without risk of damaging the ship or hurting anyone. As the days turned into weeks, Emma's control over her abilities began to improve. She could now move objects with a clear intention and communicate her thoughts through telepathy on command. Her progress was remarkable, but with each new breakthrough, the potential for danger became more apparent. The crew was walking a tightrope, managing their mission responsibilities while also dealing with an increasingly powerful, albeit young, telekinetic on board. But it was during a routine systems check that the real test came. An unnoticed fault in the ship's engine coincided with a particularly intense training session for Emma. Her focus slipped, and her powers surged unchecked, interfacing disastrously with the ship's systems. The engine fault escalated into a critical failure, and alarms blared throughout the vessel. The crew rushed to contain the situation. Syl and her engineering team scrambled to repair the damage, while Vora and Dr. Pell worked to calm Emma, helping her retract her psychic reach from the ship's systems. It was a stark reminder of how volatile the situation could become if Emma's powers were triggered involuntarily. After stabilizing the ship and ensuring there were no lasting damages, the crew convened to reassess their approach. It was clear now that Emma's abilities, while extraordinary, posed a risk they had never anticipated. They needed a new strategy, not just to manage her powers, but to prepare for any unforeseen consequences her abilities might bring. As they charted their course through the stars, the Zeltron crew realized that their mission had changed irrevocably. Emma was no longer just a child to be cared for, she was a phenomenon that needed understanding and guidance. Their journey together was just beginning, and none could predict where it would lead. As Emma's abilities continued to grow, both in strength and unpredictability, the Zeltron crew faced increasing challenges in managing the young human aboard their spacecraft. The ship, designed for deep space exploration and scientific research, was equipped with advanced technology and biological specimens collected from various corners of the galaxy. Among these were specimens meant for peaceful study, but others were more dangerous, kept under strict containment protocols. It was during a seemingly routine day that the next crisis unfolded. Emma was practicing her abilities under the supervision of Dr. Pell in the designated training area. They were working on precision control exercises, an attempt to fine-tune her focus. Emma, growing more confident, pushed herself to test the limits of her telekinesis. At first, her attempts to manipulate multiple objects at once were successful. However, as her concentration deepened, a surge of energy unintentionally escaped her control. This energy pulse interfaced with the ship's internal systems, traveling along conduits and unexpectedly triggering the release mechanisms of several containment units. Alarms blared, and red lights flashed as doors slid open, releasing a handful of biological specimens into the ship. Among them were a trio of xylobites, small, insect-like creatures known for their acidic secretion and rapid reproduction rate. The ship was thrown into chaos. Syl, the engineer, sprinted to the containment area, barking orders over the comm system to her team to suit up for specimen retrieval. Meanwhile, Captain Vora coordinated with the security team to ensure that Emma and the rest of the crew were safe and accounted for. Dr. Pell stayed with Emma, trying to calm the visibly shaken girl. "Emma, look at me," Dr. Pell urged gently, keeping her voice steady despite the pandemonium around them. "You didn't mean for this to happen. We're going to fix this, but I need you to try and stay calm. Can you do that for me?" Emma nodded, wiping away tears, her chest heaving with sobs. She felt responsible and frightened by her escalating powers. Syl and her team, donned in protective gear, used their training and equipment to round up the escaped xylobites. They used portable force field projectors to corral the creatures, pushing them back towards their containment units. But the xylobites were quick and agile, skittering through the corridors and evading capture with frustrating ease. It took hours of cautious maneuvering to secure all of them. Fortunately, due to the crew's efficiency and preparedness, the creatures were contained without causing significant damage to the ship or harm to the crew. In the aftermath of the containment breach, the crew gathered to assess the situation and implement new protocols to prevent such incidents in the future. Captain Vora addressed the team, emphasizing the importance of support and teamwork in handling the unexpected challenges posed by Emma's presence. "We are in uncharted territory," Vora acknowledged. "Emma's abilities are beyond anything we've encountered. It's imperative that we adapt our procedures and increase our vigilance. We need to ensure the safety of all crew members and our ship. Emma is part of our crew now, and it's our responsibility to guide her and help her understand her powers." The incident was a harsh lesson in the potential dangers of Emma's powers, but also a testament to the crew's resilience and dedication. They realized that handling Emma's abilities required not just caution, but also innovation. Dr. Pell proposed the creation of a specialized simulation environment where Emma could practice without risk to the ship's operations or crew safety. This environment would use virtual reality to simulate various scenarios, helping Emma learn to control her powers in a controlled setting. The crew's commitment to Emma's well-being and development became stronger than ever. They were determined to help her harness her abilities responsibly, aware that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. But they were united in their mission, driven by a blend of duty and compassion to integrate Emma into their lives aboard the ship. As they continued their journey through the stars, each member of the Zeltron crew knew they were part of something extraordinary, a unique chapter in the annals of space exploration and interspecies relations. With Emma's powers growing stronger and more unpredictable, the Zeltron crew found themselves faced with a conundrum: how to understand and control abilities that defied the laws of known physics. Dr. Pell, the ship's medic and resident biologist, delved deep into research, scouring the ship's database for any clues that might shed light on Emma's extraordinary capabilities. One evening, while sifting through data logs from the ship's initial scans of Earth, Dr. Pell stumbled upon a peculiar anomaly. Hidden within the encrypted files were traces of human experimentation, clandestine projects aimed at enhancing human physiology through the use of advanced technology. The implications were staggering. It seemed that Emma was not just a survivor of a war-torn planet, but a product of deliberate genetic modification. As Dr. Pell shared this discovery with Captain Vora and the rest of the crew, a sense of unease settled over the ship. They had unwittingly brought aboard a being with abilities far beyond their comprehension, abilities that had been engineered in a laboratory. Questions swirled in their minds. Who had conducted these experiments? What were their intentions? And most importantly, how had Emma survived when so many others had perished? Determined to uncover the truth, the crew turned their attention to Emma herself. They approached her gently, wary of causing further distress, and explained what they had discovered. Emma listened in stunned silence, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and disbelief. The revelation shook her to the core, forcing her to confront the reality of her existence. As Emma grappled with the implications of her origins, her powers continued to fluctuate, causing havoc on the ship. Objects would levitate and float around her, reacting to her emotions with alarming intensity. The crew worked tirelessly to contain the chaos, but their efforts often fell short. It was clear that Emma needed guidance, not just in controlling her abilities, but also in coming to terms with her identity. In a bid to help Emma gain control over her powers, Dr. Pell proposed a series of experiments to study the neural pathways associated with her abilities. Using advanced neuroimaging techniques, they hoped to map the intricate network of connections in Emma's brain and identify potential triggers for her powers. It was a risky endeavor, fraught with uncertainty, but the crew knew that they had to try. As the experiments progressed, Emma's powers began to reveal their true potential. She could manipulate matter on a molecular level, reshaping objects with a mere thought. It was a breathtaking display of power, but also a terrifying reminder of the dangers lurking within her. With each breakthrough came a renewed sense of urgency, a pressing need to understand and contain the forces at play. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, Emma found solace in the support of her newfound family, the crew of the Zeltron ship. They stood by her side, offering words of encouragement and acts of kindness that reminded her she was not alone. It was a bond forged in the crucible of adversity, a bond that would carry them through the darkest of times. As the ship hurtled through the vast expanse of space, the crew braced themselves for the challenges that lay ahead. They knew that Emma's powers were a double-edged sword, capable of great destruction but also great potential. It was a delicate balance, one that would require patience, perseverance, and above all, trust. And as they faced the unknown together, they knew that they would emerge stronger, united in their quest to unravel the mysteries of Emma's past and chart a course towards an uncertain future. As Emma's powers continued to evolve, so did the dynamics among the crew of the Zeltron ship. While some members embraced her presence with open arms, others grew increasingly wary of the potential dangers she posed. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over at any moment. One particularly tense evening, during a routine training session in the ship's simulation chamber, Emma inadvertently unleashed a surge of energy that overloaded the system, causing a temporary blackout throughout the ship. The crew scrambled to restore power, but the incident served as a stark reminder of the volatile nature of Emma's abilities. Frustration and fear gnawed at the crew's morale as they struggled to find a way to contain Emma's powers without stifling her potential. Captain Vora convened a meeting to address the growing concerns, urging the crew to set aside their differences and work together for the greater good. "We are a team," Vora declared, their voice firm with conviction, "and as a team we must support each other no matter the challenges we face. Emma is one of us, and it's our responsibility to help her navigate this journey." The crew nodded in solemn agreement, recognizing the truth in Vora's words. They knew that they had to find a way to channel Emma's abilities in a constructive manner, lest they risk catastrophic consequences. With renewed determination, the crew embarked on a series of experiments to test Emma's limits and explore the extent of her powers. Under Dr. Pell's guidance, Emma practiced controlling her telekinetic abilities, learning to manipulate objects with precision and finesse. She also delved into her telepathic capabilities, honing her skills in communication and empathy. But as Emma's powers grew stronger, so too did the dangers that lurked within her. During one particularly intense training session, Emma inadvertently tapped into a well of raw energy, unleashing a shockwave that reverberated throughout the ship. The crew scrambled to contain the fallout, but the incident left them shaken and wary of what Emma might become. Amidst the chaos, a rift began to form within the crew. Some advocated for stricter containment measures, fearing the potential consequences of Emma's unchecked powers. Others argued for patience and understanding, believing that Emma deserved a chance to prove herself. Tensions reached a boiling point when a heated confrontation erupted between two crew members, culminating in a physical altercation that left both parties bruised and bloodied. It was a sobering reminder of the fragility of their unity and the dangers of allowing fear to dictate their actions. In the aftermath of the altercation, Captain Vora called for a temporary ceasefire, urging the crew to set aside their differences and focus on finding a solution to the escalating crisis. Together, they devised a plan to construct a specialized containment chamber that would allow Emma to practice her abilities in a controlled environment, free from the risk of collateral damage. With the support of the entire crew, Emma embraced her newfound purpose, determined to harness her powers for the greater good. As she stepped into the containment chamber for the first time, surrounded by the familiar faces of her friends and allies, she felt a sense of hope and optimism wash over her. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but with the unwavering support of her crewmates, Emma knew that she could overcome anything. Together, they would navigate the treacherous waters of uncertainty and forge a path towards a brighter future. As Emma's powers continued to grow and evolve, so too did her understanding of the world around her. Guided by the unwavering support of the Zeltron crew, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery, determined to harness her abilities for the betterment of all. Under Dr. Pell's tutelage, Emma delved deeper into the intricacies of her telekinetic and telepathic powers, honing her skills with each passing day. She learned to manipulate objects with precision, bending them to her will with a mere thought. She also delved into the realm of telepathy, exploring the depths of her mind to forge connections with those around her. But as Emma's powers flourished, so too did the dangers that lurked within her. During a particularly intense training session, she inadvertently triggered a psychic backlash that reverberated throughout the ship, sending shockwaves of energy cascading through the corridors. The crew scrambled to contain the chaos, but the incident served as a sobering reminder of the immense power that Emma wielded. Determined to prevent future catastrophes, Captain Vora proposed a daring plan: to seek out a remote outpost on the edge of the galaxy, where Emma could receive specialized training from experts in the field of psionics. The crew, recognizing the wisdom in Vora's proposal, rallied behind their captain, preparing the ship for the long journey ahead. Their quest led them to the remote planet of Elysium Prime, home to a renowned academy for gifted individuals like Emma. As they descended through the planet's atmosphere, Emma felt a sense of anticipation tinged with trepidation. She was about to embark on a new chapter of her life, one filled with challenges and opportunities alike. Upon their arrival, Emma was greeted by a team of seasoned psionics instructors, each with their own unique talents and expertise. Together, they guided Emma through a series of rigorous training exercises, pushing her to her limits and beyond. Under their watchful eye, Emma learned to master her powers with precision and finesse, channeling her energy with a newfound clarity of purpose. She also forged connections with her fellow students, forming bonds that transcended the boundaries of language and culture. But as Emma's training progressed, so too did the shadows that lurked in the depths of her mind. Haunted by memories of her past and fears of what she might become, she struggled to maintain control over her burgeoning abilities. It was during a pivotal moment of introspection that Emma made a startling discovery. Buried deep within her subconscious lay the key to unlocking her true potential. With the help of her instructors, she delved into the recesses of her mind, confronting the demons that threatened to consume her. In a climactic showdown with her inner demons, Emma emerged victorious, harnessing the power of her mind to banish the darkness once and for all. With a newfound sense of clarity and purpose, she returned to the surface, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold. As Emma reunited with the Zeltron crew, she felt a sense of gratitude wash over her. They had stood by her side through thick and thin, supporting her unconditionally as she embarked on her journey of self-discovery. Together, they had forged a bond that transcended the boundaries of time and space, united in their quest for truth and understanding. With the knowledge and skills she had gained at the academy, Emma was ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. Armed with a newfound sense of purpose and determination, she set her sights on the stars, eager to explore the wonders of the cosmos and make her mark on the universe. And as the Zeltron ship soared through the vast expanse of space, Emma looked to the future with hope and optimism, knowing that whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, she would face them head-on, surrounded by friends and allies who had become like family to her. As Emma's journey continued, the Zeltron crew found themselves thrust into the midst of a galactic conflict, one that would test their resolve and unity like never before. It began with a distress call from a remote outpost on the fringes of known space, a call for help that echoed across the cosmos. Captain Vora wasted no time in rallying the crew, setting a course for the besieged outpost. Along the way, they encountered a series of obstacles, pirate raids, asteroid storms, and navigational hazards, but their determination never wavered. They were driven by a sense of duty and compassion, determined to lend aid to those in need. Upon their arrival, they found the outpost under siege by a ruthless band of space pirates, their ships raining down fire upon the unsuspecting inhabitants below. The situation was dire, but the crew refused to back down. With Emma's powers at their disposal, they launched a daring rescue mission, braving enemy fire to evacuate the beleaguered survivors. It was a battle like none they had ever faced, a clash of wills and ideologies that threatened to tear the fabric of reality asunder. But through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, the crew emerged victorious, driving the pirates back and securing the outpost's safety. As they surveyed the aftermath of the battle, Emma felt a sense of pride wash over her. She had played a pivotal role in the rescue mission, using her powers to turn the tide of battle in their favor. But she also felt a pang of guilt, knowing that her abilities had brought destruction as well as salvation. In the days that followed, the crew worked tirelessly to rebuild the outpost, forging new alliances and strengthening old ones in the process. They had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, a beacon of hope in a galaxy racked by conflict and chaos. But amidst the celebrations and camaraderie, a shadow loomed on the horizon, a shadow that threatened to engulf them all in its darkness. Rumors began to spread of a new threat on the horizon, a threat unlike any they had faced before. It was a threat that would test their courage and resilience to the limit, forcing them to confront the very essence of their being. As they prepared to face this new challenge head-on, Emma felt a sense of apprehension mingled with determination. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but she also knew that she was not alone. With the support of her friends and allies by her side, she was ready to face whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome anything. As they prepared to face this new challenge head-on, Emma felt a sense of apprehension mingled with determination. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, but she also knew that she was not alone. With the support of her friends and allies by her side, she was ready to face whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome anything. And so, as the Zeltron ship set course for the stars once more, Emma looked to the future with hope and optimism, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their quest for truth, justice, and the preservation of all that they held dear. With the threat of galactic conflict looming on the horizon, the crew of the Zeltron ship found themselves thrust into a perilous game of cat and mouse, a game that would test their skills, their resolve, and their very identities. It began with a series of skirmishes along the outer rim of known space, as rival factions vied for control of strategic resources and territory. The Zeltron crew, ever vigilant, found themselves drawn into the fray, their ship becoming a beacon of hope for those caught in the crossfire. But as the conflict escalated, so too did the stakes. Rumors began to spread of a powerful new weapon, one capable of unleashing untold devastation upon the galaxy. The crew knew that they had to act fast, lest this weapon fall into the wrong hands. Their quest led them to the heart of enemy territory, where they encountered a formidable adversary unlike any they had faced before. It was a battle of wits and wills, a clash of ideologies that threatened to tear the fabric of reality asunder. But through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, the crew emerged victorious, thwarting the enemy's plans and securing a hard-won victory for the forces of light and justice. As they surveyed the aftermath of the battle, Emma felt a sense of pride wash over her. She had proven herself to be a worthy ally and a formidable opponent, using her powers to turn the tide of battle in their favor. But amidst the celebrations and accolades, a sense of unease lingered in the air. The enemy may have been defeated, but the war was far from over. And as the crew prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead, Emma knew that the true test of their strength and courage was yet to come. And so, as the Zeltron ship soared through the vast expanse of space once more, Emma looked to the future with hope and determination, knowing that whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their quest for peace, prosperity, and the preservation of all that they held dear. With the threat of galactic conflict looming on the horizon, the crew of the Zeltron ship found themselves thrust into a perilous game of cat and mouse, a game that would test their skills, their resolve, and their very identities. It began with a series of skirmishes along the outer rim of known space, as rival factions vied for control of strategic resources and territory. The Zeltron crew, ever vigilant, found themselves drawn into the fray, their ship becoming a beacon of hope for those caught in the crossfire. But as the conflict escalated, so too did the stakes. Rumors began to spread of a powerful new weapon, one capable of unleashing untold devastation upon the galaxy. The crew knew that they had to act fast, lest this weapon fall into the wrong hands. Their quest led them to the heart of enemy territory, where they encountered a formidable adversary unlike any they had faced before. It was a battle of wits and wills, a clash of ideologies that threatened to tear the fabric of reality asunder. But through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, the crew emerged victorious, thwarting the enemy's plans and securing a hard-won victory for the forces of light and justice. As they surveyed the aftermath of the battle, Emma felt a sense of pride wash over her. She had proven herself to be a worthy ally and a formidable opponent, using her powers to turn the tide of battle in their favor. But amidst the celebrations and accolades, a sense of unease lingered in the air. The enemy may have been defeated, but the war was far from over. And as the crew prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead, Emma knew that the true test of their strength and courage was yet to come. And so, as the Zeltron ship soared through the vast expanse of space once more, Emma looked to the future with hope and determination, knowing that whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their quest for peace, prosperity, and the preservation of all that they held dear.